Hello and welcome to another episode of Blue Alpine TV. In today's episode, we'll talk about a bunch of different topics on Facebook, major electronic retailers, generally about Venezuela and what kind of cryptocurrency they will launch. And we'll also talk about branding and marketing when it comes to cryptocurrencies. Now, if we look at the market, today it looks very similar as yesterday, a bit even lower than yesterday. It doesn't really want to recover for now. There are a bunch of reasons. One of the reasons is that Bitfinex has been subpoenaed regarding this Tether story, and this is kind of pressing the price of Bitcoin still down. Then the other effect, as we've discussed yesterday, was that South Korea has put into effect the entire know your customer approach. So this could be a reason. As you know, we invest into the fundamentals and not into the price. So let's jump right into the first news story. Facebook has launched a new ads policy, and they are actually disallowing people who want to promote their ICO or any kind of cryptocurrency to launch ads on Facebook or Facebook related products such as Instagram. So if you're a Facebook user or Instagram user, you've probably seen some of those ICO or cryptocurrency advertisements left and right. They actually have changed their policy now. So it's not possible for companies to promote in any way their ICO or cryptocurrency. This is good and bad. So it's good because we believe that there is a lot of, unfortunately, a lot of fraud and scam going on when it comes especially to the ICO space. So this is definitely a good way to reduce the amount of scams and frauds in the industry. However, it obviously also hurts the people who are doing advertising in a more honest way. But from what we've gathered here from the article, it starts out pretty broad. So they are targeting ICOs, cryptocurrencies, any kind of financial products on different platforms such as Facebook Audience Network and Instagram. But they will reduce probably the blocking as the algorithm gets smarter. So as they learn about these things, about different ICO types or cryptocurrency types, they will probably start allowing this as well. What is also, keep this in mind, Facebook, there are rumors that Facebook is also thinking about launching some kind of digital currency as well, maybe to integrate into the Messenger product or something else. So this definitely, I think Facebook is not against cryptocurrencies as is, but it's more of they want to protect their users a bit. Moving on. So in Japan, a major electronics retailer, I think it's Yamada Denki, exactly the biggest electronics retail chain in Japan, is now accepting Bitcoin. And this is pretty cool. So they have these different stores all over Japan, and they will start accepting Bitcoins to a certain amount. I think it's around 300,000 yen. Yeah, 300,000 yen or 2,760 US dollars. They have that upper limit, so you can't buy for unlimited amounts of Bitcoin. You can't buy all of the things. But this is pretty cool, especially considering that the Bitcoin fees are currently quite low. So it's definitely interesting to use Bitcoin as a means of payment. However, we're still waiting on the Lightning Network to be implemented in order to really, for Bitcoin to really become like a daily currency. But this is already a right step. I think we will hear this type of story left and right now. For retailers, is obviously it's also a bit of a marketing move. So this is definitely interesting, and we'll keep an eye on how many people will actually pay in Yamada Denki and how effective and useful this will be for different customers. Now, Venezuela. We've talked about Venezuela wanting to launch their own cryptocurrency in the past. This is getting more and more real as we speak. So the the president, Maduro, has actually signed the white paper to launch the Petro, which is the name of the cryptocurrency, to actually buy and participate in the kind of an ICO that the government is doing. So they will sell this token in an initial sale, mainly to some of the people who have helped them with the infrastructure, and also obviously to the people of Venezuela. What is interesting in this case, and we've mentioned this before, is that every coin is backed by oil. This is kind of like the US dollar being backed by gold previously, or the Swiss franc backed by gold previously. So we will see how this actually will behave. So you can technically participate with a national ID if you're Venezuelan. He also said that mining centers are being set up at educational institutions, which is interesting because originally the Petro was supposed to be pre-mined, so there wasn't like an entire mining process before that. Now it will be interesting to see how this will develop, mainly because the Venezuelan government is pro the Petro, but the parliament is against it. And as you know, because Venezuela is a bit in a crisis, both on an economical and a political level, this will obviously cause some tension. I think, though, all in all, it will be an interesting experiment to observe, because it will be, as far as I know, one of the first, if not the first government to introduce some kind of cryptocurrency. So we will see how this develops in the future. Next up, we have messaging app giant Line is launching a cryptocurrency exchange. Line is pretty big in Japan, so it's a messaging app similar to WhatsApp or WeChat, and its main users are in Japan. They have over 200 million monthly active users and 600 million registered users. So it's a pretty big application in the Asian countries. Now, what they're thinking about doing is launching a cryptocurrency exchange on top of Line, the messenger. This makes sense because we have talked a bit about the business models of cryptocurrency exchanges. Obviously, they take part of the commission or part of the fees when you load up your balance. So, and with the interest that goes for cryptocurrencies these days, it is quite a profitable endeavor. There was recently the news that Coinbase has crossed 1 billion in revenue in 2017, which is huge. So there is definitely a run to participate in this kind of hype. And Line actually has the infrastructure and has the user base to really start here. They will start mainly in Japan, but there are plans to actually launch in Hong Kong and then even Luxembourg as well. What we will see that will be the interesting part, is whether they will be able to compete with professional exchanges like Coinbase, like Binance, and all of these other exchanges. So this will be up for discussion, obviously, once they've launched. They're currently with the FSA, which is the Financial Services Agency in Japan, and this is like a financial regulator, and they are currently under review to get started with this cryptocurrency exchange. So this will be definitely interesting. To the last news story, there is a cryptocurrency called Raiblocks. And Raiblocks, without diving too much into the detail, let me search it here quickly. They have, yes. So Raiblocks was renamed Nano. So Raiblocks rebrand information. It is called Nano now. It has XRB as the short code. And this is interesting because Raiblocks, as it's written here, it wasn't really clear how to pronounce the name. And this really shows you that in cryptocurrencies right now, marketing is a very strong indicator of a success or non-success of a cryptocurrency. So if you plan on investing in different cryptocurrencies, definitely look into how these currencies are marketing themselves as well. Because yes, on one side there is the technology part, but on the other side there is also how do you market this type of technology to the masses. Like the masses need to understand what this type of coin is selling in order to really invest into it. And what Raiblocks has done without like really diving into the technology, etc., is they've realized that the wording is quite difficult, and that's why they have announced that they will rebrand it to Nano. And Nano is catchy name, it works well. They have a cool video up as well. The apps of the wallets are also being updated. So here it really shows you that people even go as far as rebranding them, and Raiblocks has been quite successful in the last 2-3 months. So even though they have been successful, they were thinking about rebranding. So definitely think about this when you're doing your research and investing into different cryptocurrencies. And with that, I want to end today's show. Make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. And please let me know in the comments whether you like this format, and any kind of feedback is appreciated. And with that, I will see you tomorrow.